All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिके ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथं वितं जीवन् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविष्णुखण्डितंश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपदाय Prabhupada Priya Shri Girirajaya Swami Subhaktaradara Sprihanapuryasyakmadani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishnu Shashule Mukham Karoti Vacharam Pangam Langayatu Gurumuktatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinata Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, text 31. सैवादं ससरजागृह भगवानात्ममायया सदसद्रूपाय चासो गुणामाया गुणो विभुः. In the beginning of the material creation, that absolute personally Godhead Vasudeva, in his transcendental position, created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal potency. So the purpose of the Lord's descent. So why did he come? The position of the Lord is always transcendental because the causal and effectual energies required for the creation of the material world were also created by him. You follow this? Why the Supreme Lord is always transcendental? Transcendental to what?
Transcendental to material energy.
Yes. So why is he transcendental? Material world.
He is above karma, like he is above everything.
No, you read from this paragraph.
Yeah.
Because he does not have any cause and effect. He is responsible for the cause and effect directly and indirectly, but he himself, there is no cause for him.
Because he created this world. All right. He created this world, so therefore he is higher than this creation. Isn't it? By logic. He created this world, so if you make a cake, meaning it came from your creation, right? You put everything together. You had control over the ingredients and you made the cake. Right? So therefore you're higher than your cake. Make sense? Nobody praised the cake, everybody praised the cake maker, right? Or everybody, just praised the cake. Everybody asked, who made the cake? Isn't it? So meaning you're higher than the creation. So Krishna, the position of the Lord is always transcendental because the causal and effectual energies, meaning that cause, meaning the cause of the creation. And when there's the creation, then there is action and reaction, and there are effects. Like again, so the cause of the cake are all the ingredients, right? The cause of the cake are all the ingredients. So this cake, when you eat it, it gives pleasure, or it may give you diarrhea, right? So cause and effects, all right? And then you say, who made that cake? It made me upset stomach. What did you put in it? Right? You're following that, the interrelationships. Effects, cause and effects, meaning that the creation, meaning that coming from the Supreme Lord. So when something is created and then there are effects, so these are energies, because the causal and effectual energies required for the creation of the material world were also created by him. He is unaffected, therefore, by the qualities of the material moods. Now, Krishna is not partaking of his creation. Is it true? Right? Is Krishna partaking of his creation? Is he enjoying his creation and therefore suffering the reactions? No. He is creating and he's giving it to us. But he's always the supreme, the superintendent, we call it, right? He's always watching over it. And if he destroys it, again he creates it. Right? That's how it happens. Like the story of Varahadev. Somehow the demons fought and they threw planet Earth in Garbhodaksh ocean. So the Supreme Lord is watching over his creation, right? He's not enjoying it. He has nothing to do with the material creation. But then when disturbance, then he comes, he puts things again in equilibrium and gives us another chance. Like right now, what's going on? Everybody think that they are the controller, they can just fight and whatever, right? But above them all, Krishna and his agents are watching everything, and anytime they can do what they want, right? Nobody is independent. So he's unaffected, therefore, by the qualities of the material modes. His existence, form, activities, and paraphernalia all existed before the material creation. He's all spiritual and has nothing to do with the qualities of the material world, which are qualitatively distinct from the spiritual qualities of the Lord. So there is a footnote. Shripad Shankaracharya, the head of the Mayavad school, accepts this transcendental position of Lord Krishna in his commentation on Bhagavad Gita. What does he say? Narayana Parovyaktat. Text 31. Taya vilasiteshveshu guneshu gunavaniva antah pravishta abhati vidyanena vrijam vrittaha. Okay, Mara, you read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation. After creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudev expands himself and enters into it. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. Purport: the living entities are separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and the conditioned living entities who are unfit for the spiritual kingdom are strewn within the material world to enjoy matter to the fullest extent. As Paramatma, an eternal friend of the living entities, the Lord, by one of his plenary portions, accompanies the living entities to guide them in their material enjoyment and to become witness to all activities. While the living entities enjoy the material conditions, the Lord maintains his transcendental position without being affected by the material atmosphere. In the Vedic literatures, Shruti, it is said that there are two birds in one tree. One of them is eating the fruit of the tree, while the other is witnessing the actions. The witness is the Lord, and the fruit eater is the living entity. The fruit eater, living entity, has forgotten his real identity and is overwhelmed in the fruitive activities of the material conditions. But the Lord Paramatma is always full in transcendental knowledge. That is the difference between the super soul and the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, the living entity, is controlled by the laws of nature, while the Paramatma or the super soul is the controller of the material energy.
Clear?
Yeah.
It's clear? Usha ji? Usha, is it clear? It's clear, okay.
Yes.
Text 32. Text 32. Yatha hi avahito vahaniye darushpeka sayonishu naneva bhati vishvatma bhuteshu cha tatha puman. Yeah, Usha, you read? You have a book, Nidol, okay. Anupama?
Hare Krishna. Translation: the Lord as Super Soul pervades all things just as fire permeates wood, and so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the Absolute One without a second. Purport: Lord Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by one of his plenary parts, expands himself all over the material world, and his existence can be perceived even within the atomic energy. Matter, antimatter, proton, neutron, etc. are all different effects of the Paramatma feature of the Lord. As from wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk, so also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects, which are especially treated in the Vedic literatures like the Upanishads and Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam is the bona fide explanation of these Vedic literatures. The Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message, and that is the only way to experience the transcendental subject. As fire is kindled from wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only, and thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot.
Okay, so this is very important. Okay. So the Lord as Super Soul pervades all things, and an analogy is given as fire permeates wood. But do you see fire in wood? I give you a piece of wood. Do you see fire? No, right? So just as fire permeates wood, and so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the absolute one without a second. So the super soul is permeating everything that exists, meaning that there are innumerable varieties, and would seem that, okay, so he's different. There's so many different items and objects and varieties in this creation. So does it mean that he's that many? No. He is one only, though he's the absolute one without a second. Now let's read Prabhupada's explanation. Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personal Godhead, by one of his plenary powers, expands himself all over the material world. And what is this known as? One Supreme Lord expands himself all over the material world. So, and his existence can be perceived even within the atomic energy. So what is this? How he expands himself all over the material world. What is this called?
Material energy.
This is Paramatma, no? The Supreme Lord is expanding himself, right? He's expanding himself as the Paramatma, right? That's how he's all pervading even the atomic energy. Matter, antimatter, proton, neutron, etc., all different effects of the Paramatma feature of the Lord. So Prabhupada is saying, so this Paramatma is said to be what that his Vibhu, his Anu, Paramanu. Anu means atomic, Paramanu meaning smaller than the Anu, Paramanu. Is smaller than the atom. So from him, everything exists, this matter, antimatter, proton, neutron, etc., etc. So analogy is given. As from wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk. Are you seeing the butter in the milk? When you look at the milk? No. But if you churn, there is a process, then the butter will show. Similarly, fire, a child doesn't know that there's, most of us were not even conscious that there is fire in wood. So that's how we can set our house on fire, right? We didn't realize that wood means fire. So also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt. Okay? So if we are to come in touch with the Paramatma, Prabhupada is giving a secret here. What is that secret?
Process of legitimate hearing and chanting.
Yes. So you do this, what you call this, churning the butter comes out, and you rub the wood, and fire comes out. So we will be able to perceive the presence of the Lord as Paramatma by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting of what?
Lord's name.
Of what? Legitimate hearing and chanting of what, Anupama? You wanted to speak, no?
The transcendental subjects treated in the Vedic literatures.
Yeah, like
The
this
Lord's
Srimad Bhagavatam. Like this Srimad Bhagavatam, we will perceive the presence of Paramatma by hearing and reciting. So see, it is Shravanam Kirtanam. Now, I think I've said it a million times. if you want to remember or understand Shrimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, what you must do? You heard it, then what you must do?
You must tell others. Spread the
Yes, yes. Because when you speak, it's a process in Bhakti Yoga. Now we don't understand. This is all mystical. It's mysterious. The whole process of Bhakti Yoga appears simple, but actually is very mysterious. But any one of us here who are teaching, we know very well, like, believe me, I'm sitting and reading this Bhagavatam with you. And whatever I'm speaking is like what I'm seeing. Oh, Prabhupada is saying this, oh, this. I don't sit down with pen and paper and prepare, right? I don't write a lecture. I'm only reading the book with all of you, right? And, I have heard this Bhagavatam, many long years. So when I'm reading, I say, oh, something just pops up or my eyes see something. So what's going on? Because I'm helping you to hear, right? So therefore, I'm understanding more, I'm seeing more. And then I'm trying to make you see what I am seeing. Basically, that's what I'm doing, right? So the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt. But the process of legitimate, what is the meaning of legitimate?
Through disciplic succession.
Legitimate, literally, what does it mean?
like official.
Yeah,
Authorized officer.
yeah, authorized meaning like husband and wife, you give birth to a legitimate child, right? Isn't it? Husband and wife give birth to a legitimate child, right? And if there's no husband and wife, just man and woman, they come together, an illegitimate child comes out, right?
It's legal or illegal.
Yeah, so what is the legal? Legal meaning both have to
Right.
be, both must be authorized, right? Guru should be authorized and disciple should be sincere, right? Which is like Upanishad and Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam is the bona fide. What is the meaning of bona fide? This word we are going to read many millions of times. What is the meaning of bona fide?
Official? Is it like official?
Bona fide? Okay, look up dictionary. Fide. Can write it. What's the meaning of bona fide? Bona fide spiritual master. Yes, yes, tell me. Genuine. Okay,
Real.
genuine.
And honest, authentic.
Authentic. All right? Genuine. Like we said, this is genuine diamond. It is not an imitation diamond, right? Genuine. It's authentic. Not made up. Not distorted. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the bona fide explanation of these Vedic literatures. Which Vedic literature? It is Upanishads and Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam is the bona fide explanation, genuine, authentic, authorized explanation of Vedanta and Upanishads. The Lord can be realized through how?
By hearing about him.
Oral. See, specific words are used.
Oral reception.
Right? Oral reception. What image is this bringing in your mind?
Listening to lectures.
Means I'm receiving, there is a receptacle there, right? Isn't it? This
Yeah.
ear, okay? This ear is a receptacle, right? Oral meaning it is going through hearing. So this is a receptacle. Our ears should be receptacle for the proper sounds, right? Understand the process of Bhakti Yoga. It is a most mystical system. But it is mystical because the soul is sitting in this matter, right? Soul is sitting in this matter, right? And along with the soul is who?
Paramatma.
Paramatma, meaning there are two souls in the body.
Atma and Paramatma.
Yeah. And outside sound is coming, right? From the Vedas. Outside sound are coming. And this is entering through our material ear, right? Going inside the heart. So if your mind is not there, even though you have a receptacle, you're not hearing or understanding anything, right? So when you are going to hear, your mind has to be focused. Mind not focus, zero effect. It's like you draw an ear, just make a drawing of an ear, right? A paper cut ear, right? It has no value, no effect. So meaning that our ear has to be open. And when the ears open, it's going to fall on the mind. All right? Mind will become controlled and will not go here and there. So if I stop hearing, it means that my mind is no longer there. And if the mind is not there, then the poor soul who's so dependent on that mind, right? Isn't it? We are dependent on our mind. Wherever our mind goes, that's where our soul goes. True? Is it true? If I'm speaking here, suddenly you think of, the cake in your fridge. You're no longer with me, right? So you, the person, has gone to the fridge wherever the mind has gone. Correct?
Correct.
So therefore, the ear has to be open, then the mind will become fixed. And okay, so the Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message. Upadesh. Upadesh. What do you mean of Upadesh?
Advice.
Advice. Is the meaning of Upadesh? Advice? I don't know, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Instructions, right?
Yeah,
Instructions. Instructions.
Instruction.
So this instruction is taking the form of a message. What do you see? I'm analyzing each and every word so that when you read Bhagavatam, all these are going to come one after the other. So fatafat, fast. You can just go and the image is already created in your mind. So you will be able to read Bhagavatam fast, but with depth. Message. What comes to your mind? Message. Suchana, an announcement. Message. I have something to tell you, right? They've translated this. So it is a message, but it's a message from the spiritual stratum. It is not a message from this world. Right? So that's why the ear has to be open. The Lord can be realized. What do you mean realized?
Understood.
Understood?
Understand.
Realize. We're speaking English, we're speaking philosophy, we're speaking bhakti yoga. Realized.
It's the experience, isn't it? To realize something.
The experience, it means to see,
To realize,
right?
to feel.
To feel, yeah, to see. Right? Is it true? To see. When you say, I've understood, suddenly you see the reality, right? Realized. The Lord can be realized through. So, you're again to see. Remember the Paramatma we said somewhere? What was it? So also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate. You realize somebody is next to you. Remember? The Paramatma is next to you. Right? So you start by feeling his presence. And then you turn and you see him. It's described here. So I'll describe this. As fire is kindled from wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Meaning if your ear is closed, right? And when is your ear closed? When your mind is somewhere else. So when you're focusing, like just like, I would like something to be cooked. So I went to the cook. The cook, do you know what he does? Anybody has any experience? If you want a cook to make something for you, do you have any experience what the cook does?
I wish I had a cook. I am the cook.
You're the cook. Okay. If you want a friend to cook something for you, your mother to cook something for you, what does the person do? Any experience?
I'll ask them what to make.
He puts his ear.
Oh.
Because he's not going to take a pen and paper and write. Okay? Puts his ear. It's amazing. Wants to understand what you want exactly. Because a cook has to be precise, otherwise he'll blow your dish, right? And your menu. A cook who wants to serve you puts his ear. He doesn't say, Mataji, please give me a piece of paper and write everything. No. Puts his ear. It's amazing. So this is so much the culture, the Vedic culture. This science of hearing to understand the message. As Prabhupada is explaining. So the spiritual master can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master. If it's a quack spiritual master, what will he put in your ear? Say, कान में डाल दीजिए, right? You want to say, उनको कान में डाल दीजिए. Right? That's how they speak. Therefore, one is required. They don't say tell him. They say just tell him, no, कान में डाल दीजिए. This ear is so important. It is the gateway to your liberation or to hell. It's amazing purport, right? Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only. And thus, divine existence is gradually realized. You have to go on pouring, telling again and again and again until the soul, start to wake up. Child. We tell him, what to speak of child, grown up. But I'm saying child. We say, don't do this, do this. He's not hearing. Don't do this, do this. Then you have to sometimes shout. Sometimes you have to give it thappar. Catch their attention, right? That the soul is sleeping. Innocently, very innocently sleeping in the lap of Maya, the witch Maya, right? Which is ready to suck his blood or her blood. Jeev jago, Gora Chanda bole, what does he say? Kota nidra mayo, kota nidra Maya, in the lap of Maya. You're sleeping in the lap of Maya. See, I'm not singing the songs anymore. Kota nidra yao Maya, pichachira. Yeah, you're sleeping in the lap very happily. It's like you're sleeping on a snake and don't realize that you're sleeping on a snake. Try to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only. I remember Jayapataka Maharaj. And I never forget this because, see, I don't have much interaction. But, Jayapataka Maharaj arrives, and of course, there are hundreds of people running after him. So he goes in his room, he sits down, and he asks, what is the question? What is the question? Everybody is silent. Maharaj said, what is the question? And he said, you come in front of a spiritual master, you have no questions? Why did you all run after the guru? Right? For socializing, for blessings. So thus divine existence gradually realized, meaning the value of being in the presence of a spiritual master who's ready to give enlightenment, who's ready to speak words and inject spiritual knowledge in the ears of the receptive disciple. So I'm seeing all those whose camera on, I see you're all fascinated and you want to hear. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only, meaning that if you're an animal, you have an external ear, but you can't put anything inside, right? A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. All right. So if we go to sleep, our ear go to sleep, right? We become animals. Text 33. Asagunamayar bhave bhuta shukshmendriyatmabhi swanirmiteshu nirvishto bhute bhuteshu tadgunan. Now, so that was about the receptive ears. Now let's look at this verse. The super soul enters into the bodies of the created beings who are influenced by the modes of material nature and causes them to enjoy the effects of these modes by the subtle mind. Remember, speaking of the mind, now a description of the mind is given. There are 8,400,000 species of living beings, beginning from the highest intellectual being. Who's the highest intellectual being? Highest intellectual being. Oh my God.
Brahma.
Lord Brahma.
I mean, just see this AI, what he did. You saw what the AI did? My God. I was just like this, you know? And he picked up one gesture and put it up. I always say that they are not very intelligent, AI. Artificial intelligence is not at all intelligent. It cannot read the messages, right? Our non-verbal messages, our gestures. Okay, so who is the highest intellectual being? Who's the most intelligent?
Brahma.
Lord Brahma, yes. But Brahma to the insignificant end, and all of them, what are they doing? They're enjoying the material world according to the desires of the subtle mind and gross material body. You know, this little ant. Have you had experience of an ant? Have you ever had experience of an ant? What do you think of ants?
They're working all the time. They're just carrying food, looking for food. They're working.
An ant, now mind, okay? Yeah, that's proper. They are very much organized. They have their own society and their own organization. This ant, the subtle mind of the ant and the subtle mind of Lord Brahma. All right? Lord Brahma is huge organization, but he has the enjoying mood. This is what is being said. And this ant, if it gets hold of your skin, who is the enjoyer? Right? Have you had an ant bite? Oh my God, it is worse than a mosquito bite, isn't it?
Is it? Mm,
Yeah. My God, an ant bite. It's carnivorous also. An ant is carnivorous. It just doesn't like sugar only. It likes your skin. Whew. Maybe you can tolerate the sting of a mosquito. An ant, it doesn't leave you for days. Enjoying mood. Brahma down to the insignificant, and he's insignificant, right? We think he's insignificant, but he doesn't think of himself as insignificant. We are thinking he's insignificant. He's not thinking of himself as insignificant. And what are they all doing? They're enjoying the material world according to the desires of the subtle mind and gross material body. Gross material body, so that ant has got a sting that's not so visible. You can see the poke of this, that mosquito. You cannot see the sting of that ant. All right. So, see, if ants get together, they can kill even a large animal. They can kill even like a snake. Is it true? Is
They
it
can
true?
kill an elephant, Mataji.
You can kill an elephant, see? I didn't want to say it. All right, the carnivorous. So I heard this Prabhupada explaining, let's say his mind. You have a desire to enjoy in a particular way, so you are given a body accordingly. Your body is an instrument to enjoy in a particular way, right? And it's all coming from the desire in the mind. So Lord Brahma, in his mind, he wanted to create the entire universe. So Krishna said, Tathastu, gave him the whole possibility, gave him the brain, right, to do his work. The gross material body is based on the conditions of the subtle mind, all right? We follow this. I said it earlier, now it's written here. I was actually quoting Prabhupada from a lecture. Now Prabhupada has written it. So he's saying the gross material body, whatever body each one of us we have, the shape, the size, the ears, every single, we want to enjoy in a particular way, and therefore we develop this body. And so this body is actually a reflection of the mind. If you want to know the mind of a person, you look at his body. And the senses are created according to the desire of the living being. So the gross body, the gross material body is based on the conditions of the subtle mind. And the senses are created according to the desire of the living entity. So I just give the example of the ant. So it has a sense that allows it to hold on flesh. It actually holds on flesh, the ant. So it's got its legs, bites you. The Lord, as Paramatma, helps the living being to get material happiness because the living being is helpless in all respects in obtaining what he desires. So you and me and the ant and the elephant, all right? All of us, we may sit with our desires. All right, we can sit with our desires. Material nature can give me my body, construct the instrument for enjoyment, but I can't use it. Have you had that experience? You have a gadget at home and you don't know how to use it? Right? You got something at home and you don't know how to use it. So he's helpless. Therefore, how will he be able to derive his enjoyment? The Paramatma has to help him. So he proposes and the Lord disposes. In another sense, the living beings are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They are therefore one with the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, the living beings in all varieties of bodies have been claimed by the Lord as his sons. The sufferings and enjoyments of the sons are indirectly the sufferings and enjoyments of the Father. Still, the Father is not in any way affected directly by the suffering and enjoyment of the sons. He is so kind that he constantly remains with the living being as Paramatma and always tries to convert the living being towards the real happiness. So because we are part and parcel of the body of the Supreme Lord, so therefore when we are enjoying, the Supreme Lord is experiencing the enjoyment. And when we are suffering, the Supreme Lord is also experiencing the suffering. But this is indirect. still the Father is not in any way affected directly by the suffering and enjoyment of the soul, sons. Achintya bheda bheda tat. So, just like my hand, right? My hand is part of my body. If I catches something nice, let's say a flower, a rose petal, right? It's a nice feeling, right? So my hand is experiencing the enjoyment, and therefore my soul is experiencing the enjoyment that is coming from the touch of that rose. All right. At the same time, I can be indifferent. I may hold the rose in my hand for a long time, and I remain indifferent. Very good example, because your hand is part and parcel of your body. All right. So my hand is experiencing a sensation of softness. All right. And I think, oh, this is so pleasant. Such a nice touch. Right? So my hand is experiencing it. And the person may also experience it. But then at any point of time, I can become absolutely indifferent to it. Then what happens when I become indifferent to it? It no longer exists for me. When you're holding something, after some time you forget it's in your hand. Sensation no longer comes to you. I'm just trying to give an example of how the super soul is enjoying and suffering indirectly, and at the same time, it's just something external to his real self, because he has other priorities. He has his mind, he's not setting his mind on his hand all the time, right? Just of your hands. How often are you conscious of your hands? Almost never, right? Almost never. You get the idea? How we can be part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and he's experienced things indirectly at the same time. Directly, he's not partaking in the suffering and enjoyment of his sons. Are you getting an idea? I hope so. I'm doing my best. Still, this Father is not in any way affected directly by the suffering and enjoyment of the Son. He is so kind that he constantly remains with the living being as Paramatma and always tries to convert the living being towards the real happiness. This is the actual meaning of conversion. It's the actual meaning of conversion, from the state of unhappiness to happiness. All right, so that was a lot today, right? Really a lot. Anybody has any question? We have 3 minutes left.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
So it says over here that the Paramatma helps the living being to get material happiness because we ourselves are helpless in all respects in obtaining.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
So can we understand from this that sometimes we really want something badly and it doesn't happen? So maybe it is the Paramatma who is being out of his kindness, not giving us that because that's not good for us. Does that mean that?
Yes, yes, all the time, 90% he doesn't give, right? Isn't it? Did you notice? Did you notice? Isn't it? In the beginning, I thought everything I will get. whatever I wish, whatever seva I want to do, whatever plan I made, I thought 100%, everything is for Krishna, 100% you will give tick mark. Yes, yes, yes. To my great surprise, 90% he gave nothing. So then what did I do? I said, okay, I was doing it for you, Correct, the conch shell is blowing. The bell will also start ringing now. Confirmation.
And by not giving us what we want, sometimes that is giving, he is giving us a subtle sign that that is not a real happiness.
See, the mind is full of imagination, isn't it?
Mhm.
The mind is so much, I mean, who will take it seriously? If you sit with a child, they're talking, or your old granny, talking. I mean, will you take it seriously? Correct? I said the bell will ring. Confirmation. Isn't it? Poor Krishna, he has to sit with a tape recorder. All about thoughts and desires. It's like I do this, then okay, this is over. Now what's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? We're crazy people. Instead of asking Krishna, what do you want me to do? And let me pursue that. I will go on making my millions of plans. And I don't have capacity for it. That's the real thing. I don't have capacity for it because the world is wild. The world is absolutely wild. How wild is it? From Brahma to the end, everyone, what do they want? To enjoy the material world according to his own desire. Do you realize the competition that is awaiting us? As soon as you put your foot forward for one project, there are millions of Jeev who are ready to attack you and destroy you. So therefore, Krishna, just let us do little bit, and it's sufficient. Whatever our position may be in this material world, he's protecting us. Krishna is protecting us. Is it correct? I don't know. I just said it off my head.
Makes a lot. It's absolutely, Mataji. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mataji, I want
Yeah, Ashwini.
I have a question. What do you mean by protecting us?
Protecting us from ourselves to begin with, right?
Oh,
Yeah, the crazy mind, just read this. There are 8,400,000 species of living beings, okay? Who you have to compete with? This many. From Brahma to the ant. And what all of them want to do, they all want to enjoy the material world. These are all your competitors. Isn't it? You want something and somebody look at you, oh, what you're doing, I also want to do the same. Isn't it?
okay.
Whatever you want to do, somebody say, oh, let me watch what he or she is doing and also let me do.
Okay.
At each and every step of your life, you can observe this. Resources that's required. Resources that's required. Who wants to partake of their resources? Isn't it? so much trouble, so much unnecessary dangers, mental, emotional, physical, verbal. So that's why by the grace of the Lord, we are restricted. I'm speaking of the majority, the large, super large majority of us, we are restricted, right? Very few people, extremely minority, they are allowed to do more than the ordinary. Because they have that courage, they have that capacity. Srila Prabhupada, no? Has any one of us been able to do what Prabhupada did in 10 years?
Not even a fraction.
Right? I remember after I spent my 10 years in ISKCON, you know, I look back and I say, Prabhupada did everything in 10 years where I am.
Yeah. True.
I remember very well that day when I came to my 10th year. I said, what Prabhupada did? But he did everything in 10 years?
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
So you understand? So you understand what I'm trying to say with this, you know, protecting, not fulfilling all our desire, not, you know, okay, open gate, you know, okay. Oh God. The mind is ever a mischievous child. And the parent always has to close the door, right? Just like the day before was Makar Sankranti, you know. So of course the temple is so beautifully decorated and Abhishek was going on. So I came here by the balcony because it's a good place, you know, you can see the Abhishek. So when I came there, I pushed myself, you know, I didn't push, but they gave me space. I found myself next to a family, husband, wife, and one child. So this child is holding onto the balustrade, right? And my first thought was, oh my God, I hope he doesn't jump over, right? And throughout, the father's hand and the mother's hand was around the child. Because the thought that came in my mind, all right, was 100% in that father and mother. The protective arm was always around that child, that he shouldn't jump over. And this poor child doesn't know how many people are concerned about him. The child was freedom, right? It was freedom. So that's us.
Oh.
Should not, what you call it, crib? Huh? Oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. Relax, it's okay. Okay, we are 10 minutes, 8 minutes past. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sankalpa Sarubhyascha Kripasalubhyascha.
Hare Krishna. Rashmi, where are you? Rashmi?
Mata, this timing is so bad for me, no, because
Oh,
it's winter time, no. So I told you I've got to do so many things in the morning. So then by the time this time comes, I have to cook and eat.
Oh.
So that is why I
Okay.
just keep myself no camera off. And then
Okay,
Friday, Amrita, Mataji, that time I'm driving to work. So that also I have to keep off. But in one in winter finishes, then it will become okay because then our
Oh,
will adjust.
okay, my God, just see, the sun is so important, right? Right? We take the sun for granted. Makar Sankranti. Okay, we'll see your lotus face next time, right? We'll wait for it.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.